Hey, what's going on, guys? So Apple just launched the iPhone 13 and they got the event done for the iPhone 13 with also a couple of other things. They had the iPad mini, and also the Apple Watch Series 7 in the event too. You can, if you haven't seen the event yet, you can go check it out on Apple's website, and also I think on their YouTube channel. So if you do want to see it and you haven't seen it yet, you can go there. So we're just going to go through a little rundown of the event in hopefully what isn't too long. The reason I'm not doing a video just for one product is because we really haven't gotten much more information than what we got, or than what the leaks have been. If you've been on Instagram and you follow anyone on Instagram that does anything Apple related, you've probably seen leaks. It looks, and from what Apple said, is literally what the leakers have been putting out. So nothing to complain about, but let's just go ahead and get right into the video. But before we start, if you could like the video and subscribe, that'd be absolutely wonderful. As you can see, I have a mic now, so we're stepping up in quality just a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so starting with iPad. iPad has the new A13 Bionic chip in the iPad. This is the baseline iPad, so not the Pro, not the Air, or the Mini. This is just the regular iPad. Apple said it has a 20% faster CPU, GPU, and neural engine. 3 times faster than top-selling Chromebooks, which is a laptop. If you don't know, Chromebook is Google's laptop, and 6 times faster than the top-selling Android tablet competitor. Now, there's a lot to go off there. Firstly, 6 times faster. I don't know what the top-selling Android tablet is, but I would assume that it's the Galaxy series, or Samsung, whatever they call it. But 6 times faster? It seems like a stretch, but I guess we'll have to just wait and see for the reviews and the tests and all that to come out. So Apple said that this new iPad is better for numerous things, but they made their main thing be browsing the internet and gaming. So that's kind of a weird choice, but you know, whatever. They also said that it's going to be a lot smoother for messaging. So we're going to get, I guess, a better messaging experience with this new iPad.
And it means users will see even more responsive performance for all the things they love to do on iPad. From everyday uses like messaging and browsing the web to playing immersive, high-quality games.
Okay, let's go to the iPad camera, because this was also a pretty big thing that they said in the event. They did actually focus on the camera quite a bit. Not the back camera so much, but the front camera. They definitely kind of pushed out. This year the iPad is going to have a 12 megapixel ultra wide single camera lens. It has a 122 degree field of view, which is about this wide. So it's pretty wide. It says they have center stage now.
Center stage. We're bringing the magical center stage experience from iPad Pro to this new iPad. Enabled by the ultra-wide front camera and the Neural Engine, Center Stage makes video calls more engaging by automatically detecting people and dynamically adjusting the frame as they move around or as more people join in. It works in landscape orientation and portrait, so users can enjoy Center Stage in all the ways they use iPad.
Okay, so as far as display, which is I think what a lot of people may be looking for in this iPad, is a new display. But we didn't get too much of a new display. We got a couple of things which is worth mentioning, like True Tone, which basically just adjusts to the lighting around you. If I were in like a really bright environment, it would probably turn my brightness all the way up. Whereas if I was in a low light environment, it'd probably bring my brightness down a bit more. Your iPhone that you're currently watching this on, if you are watching this on an iPhone, most likely has True Tone. So now we get to the new iPad OS, which is going to be for iPad and also the new iPad mini that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. With this iPad, we got the new iPad OS 15. And now the main selling point of this iPad OS is that you can place widgets all around the screen, like in current iOS version, and hopefully iOS 15 would be awful if they just didn't include that. They have new multitask controls, which look like this. I'm about to show them on the screen right here. They also have something called Quick Note, which is probably the most self-explanatory. Feature. It's notes, but they're made to be quick.
You can place widgets among your apps, making important information available with just a glance. New multitasking controls make it even easier to launch and use multiple apps. Quick Note gives you a fast and easy way to take notes anywhere.
Okay guys, so we finally get down to what people are going to need to know if they want to buy this. The price. I think it's the same as it's always been, but this is what Timmy had to say.
It starts with our most popular iPad, which delivers the full iPad experience at an incredibly affordable price.
Yeah, right, like anything you've ever put out has been affordable. Silly Tim. But it starts at $329. $320. That's for a base model. But you knock off $30 for school, so it's alright, guys. The iPad comes in two different colors, space gray and silver. Although this year, I feel like the silver really is not silver in any way and is just white. I mean, to each their own, but come on, that looks like just plain white. There's no silver in that. Apple did say that this is available to pre-order right now, and you don't actually have to wait. So you can go pre-order it today, and technically you could have pre-ordered it yesterday, but the video didn't come out yesterday, so yeah. One more thing I forgot to mention was that the iPad has a 10.2-inch display and supports first-gen Apple Pencil, not second-gen, which is really, really strange to me that they aren't putting out second-gen Apple Pencil support. But I guess you got first-gen. I just don't understand that logic. But whatever. Now let's talk about iPhone. We have 4 different options this year, just like last year. And they're called the same thing, just 13 instead of 12. You have the iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 13, iPhone 13 Pro, and iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm only going to be covering the Pro models because anything the Pro models can do, you can assume that the baseline models can do just with a little bit less. Obviously, they don't have that third camera lens. They're not going to have a couple of camera features to talk about. They're not going to have LiDAR. They're not going to have some things, but they're pretty obvious things. But I am only going to be talking about the 13 Pro lineup. Starting out with general info, we have a 20% smaller notch this year. We get it. We've been asking for this for 2 years. We want a smaller notch. We want a smaller notch. Hey, give us a smaller notch. They finally deliver with a 20% smaller notch. Now, here's the thing. This notch is smaller, but I don't know how case manufacturers are going to do this. Like, I have an OtterBox, and there's a bezel that goes around the phone just a little bit over top of the bezel that's already there. And this notch has the speaker at the very, very top. So I don't know how case manufacturers are going to do that. But I guess it's going to be like sort of the same way they do the Galaxy series, but yeah, it has IP68 water resistance. So I kind of want to see a phone get IP69 or IP70 or IP71, somewhere along those lines, rather than keeping it at IP68 that we've had since I think the iPhone 7 actually. Maybe it was the 8, but I'm pretty sure we've had IP68 water resistance since the iPhone 7. Like to see it change, but it's not like completely necessary, just something that'd be a cool step forward, but not necessary technically. Okay, so what they really pushed this year were the cameras. Last year, they didn't really push anything that much other than the iOS. But this year they are really wanting you to buy this phone for the cameras. As I've already mentioned, we still have that triple camera setup. I'm liking it so far, so hopefully it'll be the same, maybe a little bit bigger cameras, but it does have a 77mm telephoto lens. We also have 3x zoom in telephoto now, where I think it was 2.5 this year, and I think also 2.5 with the iPhone 11. As far as the ultra wide lens, we have 1.8 aperture and 6 element lens, and it also has autofocus, which is actually going to play into something here in a minute that we're actually going to see with the regular wide lens, I believe. We have 1.5 aperture with the wide lens. We have 1.9 micron pixels, and macro photo, I think is what they called it. It might be something different, but I'm pretty sure they called it macro photo. What macro photo is it allows you to focus at very short distances. They advertise so that you can actually see the cells of a plant with this.
Macro photography. Macro photography typically uses a special lens that can focus at close distances. The new ultra-wide lens design and autofocus system enable incredibly sharp focus and can magnify subjects with a minimum distance of 2 centimeters. So you can get detailed close-ups, like of this beautiful red daisy, the cells in this leaf, or the water droplets on this mushroom.
Very cool stuff. I love to see that. I don't know if people are going to use this though, to be honest with you. I don't see anyone really using this. I feel like they're just trying to squeeze features out, which is good and all, because they need to make money and they need to advertise it, and Apple's advertisements are always very good, so they're gonna get sales no matter what. But they are definitely pushing macro photo and as the big new feature. So a couple other things we have with camera is this new thing called cinematic mode, which is basically portrait mode but for video. I think that's how I would say it. You can basically edit, focus, and all of this other stuff while you're recording, or even after. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna put a clip up right now.
We can actually go ahead and make these stories and make these films using the tools on this iPhone. I believe that with the advent and with the addition of cinematic mode, we're going to very soon see filmmakers make films in a different way, which is exciting.
It might even birth a brand new genre.
I have no doubt it will, just given the size and given the ability to move this camera.
Exactly.
It will change the language
Of cinema
in a very positive way.
And it looks incredible. There were a couple things that people said. I think MKBHD said that it looked a little bit bad, but he also said he was nitpicking. Mr. Who's the Boss said it looked a little soft around the edges, but you know, I think it looks absolutely incredible considering it's literally coming from a phone, something that costs less than $2,000 potentially. But yeah, cinematic mode looks absolutely amazing. They also have something called ProRes Photo, which is Apple Pro Raw, but for video. And it has pretty much the same thing, and that you actually cannot get this feature with the Pro models unless you get over 128 gigabytes, because 10 minutes of recording is, I think 100 gigabytes, so this is going to take up your storage, just like eat it, dude. So, yeah, you cannot get this unless you get 128 gig, or unless you get over 128 gigabytes. So a little bit exclusive, I guess, but it's really nothing besides this is literally going to fill up your storage. Also, while I'm on the topic of storage, we also have a 1 terabyte option this year. Pretty self-explanatory, not much to get into there, but yeah. Okay, as far as iOS 15, we have an A15 Bionic chip in it, a 5-core GPU, and 50% faster graphics. That's an insane number. They did not compare it to last year, but they compared it to their competitors. So whatever they think their competitors are, they could not even, they may not even be talking about Samsung in this situation. They could be talking about some competitor we've never even heard of. But it's 50% faster. So, but really anything faster than last year's is good. Not saying that last year's was bad, but any improvement that Apple makes in their phones is obviously a good improvement. But yeah, that's about all we got. First of all, we do have a new color called Sierra Blue, and the rest of the colors are the same: gold, graphite, and silver. So everything is the same except for the Sierra Blue, which I actually really like. It looks like a little bit of a lighter version of last year's, basically just toned down. We have the Pro at a 6.1 inch display and the Pro Max with a 6.7 inch display. The display itself has a Super Retina XDR. It goes up to 1,000 nits, and are you ready for this? Drum roll, please. We have 120 hertz. They gave us ProMotion, guys. We have 120 hertz refresh rate. We've wanted this for like 3 years. We've wanted this since the iPhone 10. We finally have it. Here's the thing, though. We don't have Touch ID. They did this on purpose, and I know exactly why they did this. They want to push Apple Watch sales, because I think iOS 14.3 or 14.5 or something around there made it so that you could unlock your phone if you have an Apple Watch Series 3 or higher with your Face ID if you have a mask on. So I know why they didn't give it Touch ID, but I don't like that they didn't give it Touch ID. I would love to have Touch ID. I would have used Touch ID because honestly, even a Touch ID in the power button would have been nice, or even on the back of the phone. All we wanted was Touch ID. They didn't give us in-screen Touch ID, no Touch ID at all this year, but maybe next year, maybe never. Who knows? Okay, as far as Apple Watch, not too much is different. I think it's only a 1.7 millimeter bezel this year, but that's about all that's changed. Obviously, we're gonna get the new WatchOS. We're gonna get new watch faces, but other than that, there's really not much to talk about with Watch. So yeah, I don't really know what to tell you there. All right, well, that brings me to my final thing, which is the iPad Mini, which is a money killer, dude. This thing is $500. $500 for a tiny thing that you're literally able to hold in the palm of your hands. I don't want a $500 iPhone SE. That's not necessary. What I'm saying is it looks good. I would honestly buy it if it was the price of the regular iPad. I would probably pay more for the regular iPad than the iPad Mini. So I don't know what they're doing with the iPad and the iPad Mini, but if those prices were flipped, I probably would honestly buy the iPad Mini. I love the iPad Mini. It has 2nd gen Apple Pencil support. It has a lot of things that the regular iPad has. Actually, there's not too much different from it, other than the fact that it's smaller, has a better, sleeker design in my opinion. It has those rounded edges. Obviously, no home button or anything. It's going to be Touch ID in the power button on the top. So, you know, we get what we get. But yeah, there's not much to talk about with the iPad Mini either, other than the fact that it's $500. I think is a huge overprice. But you know. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button down below, and also subscribe and turn on post notifications. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so maybe I can get monetized. If you want to get me there, obviously, like I just said, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.